Episode 14 and the final, Bobby Short. May 2nd, 2023 at 10:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This hotel has been home for kings and queens, moguls and movie stars. In fact, when John F. Kennedy was president, the Carlisle Hotel was known as the New York White House. Great people also come here from all over the world to see and hear this man, Bobby Short, a singer with impeccable taste and a romantic touch, who is famed for singing the great songs from all eras. Join us tonight as we go to his musical domain, the Café Carlisle. Since the late 60s, Bobby Short has been weaving a romantic spell in this room, and he's made many friends. There's Tony Bennett, a great performer who appreciates other performers. Alice Faye and critic Rex Reed. Lucy Arnaz and husband Lawrence Luckinbill. And two-time Oscar winner Jack Lemmon. Actress Monique Van Voort. Actor Barry Bostwick with actress Lisa Hartman. Artist Leroy Neiman. Famed photographer Scavullo, and actor-director Jeffrey Holden, all waiting for the man who's been called the greatest cafe entertainer in the world, Mr. Bobby Short.
Sad to be told, for practically everything leaves me totally cold. The only exception I know is the case when I'm out on a quiet spree, fighting vainly the old ennui. Then I suddenly turn and see your fabulous face. From champagne, beer, alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a kick out of you? Some get a kick from cocaine. I'm sure that if I took even one sniff, it would bore me terrifically too. Still I get a kick out of you. I get a kick every time I see you standing there before me. Though it's clear to me you obviously don't adore me. I get no kick in a plane going somewhere in the air with the fair Mr. Lindbergh. Seems nothing to do. Still I get a kick out of you.
Bobby Short is Bobby Waltrip Short, born September 15, 1924, and he passed March 21st, 2005. He was an American cabaret singer and pianist who interpreted songs by the most popular composers from the first half of the 21st century, Rodgers and Hart, Cole Porter, and he championed African American composers like Fats Waller, U.B. Blake, and Duke Ellington. In 1968, he was offered a 2-week stint at the Cafe Carlyle in New York City, and he remained there as a featured performer for more than 35 years. In the year 2000, the Library of Congress designated Short as a living legend, and in 2004, he ended his residency at the Carlyle at the end of the year and passed away the following year, March 21st, 2005. He died of leukemia. He was 80 years old. Although Short never publicly declared that he was gay, it was well known among his friends, fellow musicians, and some of his fans. When asked by a friend why he hadn't taken part of any of the gay pride marches of the 70s and 80s, Short's response was, "I have a living to make. I can't afford to march in the gay pride parade."
There's a fragrance that's here today, and they call it Charlie. A different fragrance that thinks your way, yeah, they call it Charlie. Kinda young, kinda now, Charlie. Kinda free, kinda wild. Kinda free, kinda wild. Kinda free, kinda wild. Charlie. Kinda fragrance that's gonna stay, and it's here now. Charlie.
Charlie by Revlon, a most original fragrance.
Thank you for listening to this interview series with Laurie Greene. Believe it or not, I wrote over 6 pages, front and back, of questions for Laurie in advance. And after 12 hours of talking, I never looked at them. I didn't have to. We were just organically speaking together, and it kind of meshed. Something Came from Baltimore will be back with jazz, blues, and R&B. And I thank Laurie Greene for being open and allowing me to learn more about her. And obviously, she's a cool lady. For those who are just checking it out, Laurie Greene is an associate professor of anthropology at Stockton University in New Jersey, where she had taught since 1986. She is a LGBTQ Youth Safe Space Initiative at Stockton University and advocate for local LGBTQ community, the author of Drag Queens and Beauty Queens, and contesting femininity in the world's playground. Let's get into this conversation. Let's see. So the bomb that really hit was AIDS, right? So when you talk about a thriving community in Atlantic City, like maybe casual sex doesn't seem as sexy anymore, or the fact that you don't know what's going on, and you could be sick immediately. And I know there used to be like a lot of like booths and back rooms and so sex is very, very available in Atlantic City, and it became a negative. Like you could see the devastation within Atlantic City. You could see people sick. So then you equate it as like, oh, this is not a good. This I will not be healthy, or I need to. I may get something also. So, I mean, the devastation of AIDS, like I looked back in the 80s and I thought, oh my God, I'm not out yet. I didn't come out until I was 26, but I was like, we're doing really good. We have the Culture Club, we have Michael Jackson, and we have Prince, and they're gender bending, and men look like women. And I thought, oh my God, we're moving in the right direction. And then AIDS came. And everyone was just afraid to drink water out of a glass or use a spoon. You're not allowed to kiss anyone on the lips anymore. You fear people. And So that was more devastating than not. I think a lot of young people don't realize what we went through, that it was kind of like at any day. And I think in the back of my mind, for an older gay man, it's very possible you can get AIDS, period.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that young people, LGBTQ or not, understand the devastation that AIDS wrought, or the kind of fear we were living under, or the kind of just, absolute mourning we were in for years, me and my friends. And like I said before, you lose a third of your Facebook friends is what I try to say to them. Just imagine that. Just imagine in 2 years losing a third of your Facebook friends. That's what it was like. And nowadays, because there's medication, I think people are much more lackadaisical about being careful. And that's one downside, I think, unfortunately, of the fact that we have these good drugs, relatively good drugs. But yeah, I mean, you could say the reason that it certainly was a factor in why New York Avenue is not here anymore. I mean, it's epidemic. I mean, people left. I mean, when a third of the community goes down and is no longer here, and then the street gets blown up, people left. Part of the reason the community isn't here anymore is because the actual people aren't here anymore, or they weren't, they left. And not just the street, and so, yeah, it was a big part of it. The casinos was another influence, and the money that could be made by selling that land to prospective casino development was, I'll just say it that way, was also another very big factor.
Sure.
And again, the reason that I've mentioned before, that the city did not see gay tourism as an economic engine, which it is. And so when they didn't do anything about helping that street stay solvent and vibrant, but instead went, oh no, we're doing casinos now, we're going to get rid of this. Asbury Park and Rehoboth took over.
Yeah.
They went, oh, great. We've got it. What an opportunity. And so I think those are the three biggest factors that really led to the demise of New York Avenue. Again, the particulars are up for debate, and there's many people who disagree vehemently and emotionally about what happened, because New York Avenue is a really, really important place to people. There's a lot of nostalgia about it. And I can even hear that nostalgia in your telling of it, Tom. And it's one reason, why it's not an afterthought, why it wasn't just like something that was constructed, for tourists. You don't have nostalgia about something that's constructed for tourists. You have nostalgia about something that was real,
Yeah.
And I just want to make that point about the fact that people lived there. It wasn't just like a freak show for people to come enjoy on their vacation.
It went from a welcoming, inviting, and we would roll out of our cars and park and run around and have fun. And then, within the decay of that area, it became unsafe too. Like where the city felt more dangerous. Maybe we didn't see it before because we were having so much fun and we were in numbers. But now people would go in there, like to Atlantic City, like, where's the fun? Where is the beach? Why isn't the gay beach populated anymore? Or, why is it feel hostile that we're sitting in that area? Or we're in the city and it's, there's a lot of vagrants and drug use now. We're like, I don't feel safe here anymore. And it went from vibrant to the opposite, which is like, degradation of the area. And then you're like, well, there's flowers over at Rehoboth and it's pretty there. It's like, I feel safe there. And there's other people who are willing to sit on that beach.
But it's also a very different place. It's a very conservative place, Rehoboth, compared to Atlantic City, and it's very white compared to Atlantic City. And it's very
racist
still
too.
Beach town. It's not a city like Atlantic City. It's a very different place. I mean, Asbury isn't exactly like Atlantic City either, but it's more like Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It's a little grittier and a little bit more suburban as opposed to beachy town, but Atlantic City is a city. And I think that is a difference that it has. And it's what makes it difficult for people from other places who think they can come in here and reproduce a model from somewhere else and never, always fail, I think, is that this is a very unique place. And another thing that I think is important about the book actually is how, the book is really about, on the one hand, how important place is in understanding a culture. Because it is, in my mind, an intersectional variable, just like class or race, right, or gender, or sexuality. It's and it's little considered, that place makes a difference. This struck me because this is a great story about Show Us Your Shoes, actually, a little tie-in. So there is a festival, a debutante festival, debutante balls go on all over the South, a very important part of Southern culture in general. And there is a gay group in Austin, Texas, that does a cotillion, basically, a spoof on the debutante ball as a giant parade every year. And at that parade, the hairdressers started yelling, "Show us your shoes," and now it's a chant at that parade. And that came from Atlantic City. There must have been those hairdressers were coming to Atlantic City for the Miss America pageant, and they spread that to this festival that happens every year in Austin, this LGBTQ festival. But having said that, it's different because it's the South. Their expression of their gay culture, you could call it, or their shared values, or the way they perform gayness in these festivals is decidedly Southern. It's not like it is up here. And I think that that's an important thing to understand, that gay people are not all alike. We're just as variable and different as everybody else. And a lot of that variation has to do with the places that we occupy, and how we're connected to them.
Just by coming in there, I said, I came in at the tail end. So I was like, oh my God, it's going to be fun. It's going to be wonderful. And by the time I moved there, I was like, there's no bar, there's no beach, there's the street that I used to roam around doesn't exist. And the local community was beaten up because there was a level of psychologically knowing that they weren't wanted and they didn't belong in this area. Like there was a wave of where the local government wasn't interested in anything that was gay related, and then there was the casinos who wouldn't put on any gay programs, and it wouldn't even cater to the gay people that work in the casino with the internal memos that come out of of respect. So it was wild. And I know I told you before, I tried to bring in some events, and the event people said, we don't want to associate gayness with Atlantic City. Like, we don't want our regular people who come in here and gamble feel that there's a gay overtone to the city. We don't want that. We don't want to turn anyone away.
What a mistake that was.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I just, I'm doing a lot of research on tourism, gay tourism right now, background research. And I just saw a video that Las Vegas put out for app marketing. And it's two gay women that come there and decide they're going to get married. It's like the softer side of Vegas is their advertising campaign. And, you see them walk around the city, and then she's like, oh, I really can't because my parents won't understand. And let's just do it. It's Vegas. Let's get married. And then she says, let's do it. Call your parents right now. And she picks up the phone and calls her parents because they're like eavesdropping on a wedding. And her father is in the audience, and he answers the phone of this wedding because it was really for them. And it's just like such pink marketing, it's like, and they're not stupid.
Yeah.
And again, I can't emphasize enough the bad economic decision that the city made when they didn't recognize what an economic engine the gayborhood was. And that's called homophobia. There's no other way to talk about it.
It seems kind of false now that they do out in AC because it wasn't really generated within, like we had talked before, it's not generated locally. It's not promoted or connected to the local area. And so they're just events and they come and go and they have no connection to the city. And it's the impression that this is what we think gay people want instead of, we know we're catering to the people that are in our area. It's just a disconnect there.
Certainly true about the programming at the Ocean. They very much want the local community to support it, but they never ask for their input or actually design programming for them.
Exactly. Yes. The beef that I had, and I don't know, I think I'm older now, so I don't really carry that like as a thing, but something weird happened with me with Be Visible. We were chugging along and I did have, aha moments while I was doing it. Not everyone was excited about the events. People complained. People were, I showed.
Always complain. Right?
Yeah, always complain. But, and I always said, well, I had over 600 people who wanted to know about it. And maybe anywhere from 30 to 75 to sometimes 125 people would show up. And it was about, being in a community. And Rich Halpin came to one. I remember it. I don't know, it's called Judy's. It was a roadside diner that was kind of gay friendly. It was great. I don't know, it's Judy's. But he stood there and I was talking to him. He just was looking around. And then all of a sudden, this group came up. He decided to do the group. I'm all for it. I felt this is taking what Be Visible did and taking it to the next level. And I was like, this is awesome. We're moving, and we're having an entertainment like once a month with this Be Visible. We now are targeting the businesses in the area. We're trying to make it gay friendly. This is what the progress that we need. So that's what started it. And then everyone left Be Visible because they thought it was more fun at the other place. And, I talked to him and I said, why can't we coexist? And I even talked about the Pink Pass and some other ideas that I have. I'm like, why can't the Be Visible be the entertainment piece of what you're trying to do for locals and then have your business thing on this? Like, why can't it be combined? And I went to a board meeting. So we were in a board meeting and it was filled with a whole bunch of people in there. They yes me. They listened to what I said. I walked away, never responded back to me about the opportunity of working together. And then I was like, I don't feel, I read their bylaws and I said, I don't think you guys are doing what you say you're doing. Like, there's not inclusion. There's a lot of people felt like they were that they weren't really working for them. And then they kind of just found out, oh, it's not really about business. It's about getting Miss America back up. They were duped.
Exactly what it was about. Exactly what it was about. And it wasn't about anything else.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, because I was on that board for a bit, and it's the beef that I had was, well, why aren't we're not really doing anything. The only thing we're doing is Miss America. And it's like, that's all they cared about. If you had another idea, they'd be like, oh, well, go do that yourself. Oh yeah, you by yourself, by the way. So yeah, that became very much their focus. It was there late. So I don't know, I'm not sure the history of that, like if it was always like that or not.
It was like that. It was I basically stopped doing Be Visible around 2011. So because I also moved too. But I stopped doing them because I couldn't commit to these businesses that people would show up. Now, I talked to Jeff Rosenberg about what happened, and he said, people, if he would have hung in there maybe about 6 months, people got the idea of that this wasn't what they were told, and they would have came back and supported Be Visible. He said that not having Be Visible was probably the worst thing because you need that social outlet. And now it became worker bees for Miss America. It's like,
exactly.
we're like, wait, we're trapped. We're doing this. Some people were willing to do it. And some people were like, what is this? What am I doing? It was frustrating for me because I felt that Rich took his own personal interest and not the interest of gay people in the area and did what he wanted to do. And and put an umbrella up and said, okay, this is for the gay community, blah, blah, blah. We're all working together. But it wasn't. It was just some kind of way to get Miss America up. And I guess Drag Race started probably back then. The commercialization, the visuals of what he could see.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, it became apparent to me that that's basically the only thing that they wanted to do. And the mixers were there to get support for Miss America, basically.
Wow. Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, like, what a hidden agenda. So, that I went away. They arrived, and it's funny, they died when I came back. Like, folded as a group. And then they said they had still money in their coffers. They were going to give it to Be Visible if they wanted. And, we had the pandemic and things happened. So it was a thing where I walked away really kind of disappointed. And I was disappointed about the people who were, going to our Be Visibles, that a new shiny object got their attention and they flocked over there in a heartbeat, and not really understanding what Be Visible was about. It was about making connections and being a part of, a community. And sometimes you got to put in the work, right? So I was like, oh, we're putting in the work by, being stronger and developing more of a community setting and learning more about each other. And I know Rich kept on telling people that Be Visible is just a hookup thing. It's just only designed to meet up and have sex. Like, he was telling people that. So they were supposed to stand for something.
And again, the drama.
Yeah, he
was.
You
know what? I told you this, but I'll say it again. Sometimes you make a space, you create a space. Like, you created this space, right?
Yeah.
Where you and others, I don't know who else was involved, but you created this space where people could gather, and it seemed really nice and interesting. It was an interesting space. It had potential, right?
Yeah.
And there's some people that will walk into that space and say, I want this space and I want to do something with it. And they take it, and it doesn't feel very good, because they're not taking it actually to make it better. They're taking it for their own agendas, what they want to do with it and how they want to, the kind of social capital they want to gain in the community from it.
Yeah.
And I hear you, because it's happened to all of us, that have gone in naively and thought, oh, I'll just build it and everybody can enjoy it. And then, it doesn't feel good to have someone abscond with that uses it for what you perceive as their personal gain.
Yeah. Wow, what a full circle thing, because we mentioned earlier. I think our first conversation we mentioned this, and we're unfortunately, I'm not there. I'm not able to. I would really hope that Be Visible would continue, because of the value of just being together is important. The fact that people show up, I admire every single person, because I believe in my heart they understand the need to be together. And even they don't have to be best friends or whatever, but it's the fact that it's that representation that we're here, and then we're not going away. It's important. So, if I was there, I would continue. But I'm not there. And
and it's a shame. It is a shame what happened, and I don't really want to get into that, because I don't want to. I don't know. It's not a good topic for conversation on here. It is a shame, because it was going,
Yeah.
And but again, there was a space, and it seemed like it had potential, and when that happens, sometimes other people who have other agendas move in.
Yeah.
That's what happened again. So it's deja vu all over again, isn't it?
Well, it was almost like I was like reading your book, and I went, like, everyone, you were talking about the gay alliance thing, I'm like seething, like I was like, no.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one.
Definitely
not be the only one who feels that way. And it is, a few years ago, I produced a reunion show for all the originals who won the Miss America pageant, the Miss America 1.0 people, right? And we had it at the Anchor Rock Club, and it sold out. We had like 450 people there. It was amazing, and we had a lot of the original winners of Miss America performing. Mortimer came back out of retirement, which he does occasionally.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone will come out for him. Tinsel Garland almost came, but she couldn't. She wasn't feeling well. But we had, Chunky Marinaro was there. I mean, some real aging, not, people that wait till the last time we get to see them perform. And it was just so amazing and heartwarming to see all the old people who used to be in the neighborhood come back for this event, and celebrate it. And, that I can't agree with you more, that those are the kind of things that remind people of what's important. And to come together to be able to do that was very important. And nobody benefited from it except maybe the people that performed, and they deserve to have that recognition.
Definitely.
And that was my concern in running it, was that those people got the recognition that they deserved, the historical importance that they deserved. And they are historically important. They really are. Even if they don't have any money and they're not important in the larger scheme of things, they're really important to the community in this city. And so that again, you make a space, and then other people want a piece of it. They're like, oh, a show, maybe we should do our own shows. It's just interesting the way people are.
Yeah. Well, that goes back into activism. It almost goes back to the thing where you move forward in the community, and you're bombarded, like the work that's involved, and you're bombarded with other people's agendas attached to it, along with just and you want to be fluid with working on things, and say it evolves, it grows, but sometimes like a force like that just takes over.
Well, I should have finished my story a little better, because I remember now why I originally said it. Even that event, which was the originals event, there were people who asked me right away, oh, does any of this money go to John and Gary? Where's this money going for the ticket? Because they didn't want to go if it went to the Alliance or John and Gary's pockets. There's a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger at both of those organizations. And just in the community. I mean, this is what I heard, especially running that event.
Yeah, I'd answer that question.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you, because but just goes to show you how much ill feelings are still around, and everyone had a great, I don't know if you made it to that, but remember it, but everyone had a great time at that event. It was so successful. And I'll always remember it, as one of the, I think one of my better accomplishments in the city, honestly, even though it wasn't a big deal. I think it was really important, and I think the guys really appreciated it.
No, everything you do is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like everything builds.
Thank you. I don't feel that way.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like everything builds on each other. I'm still attached to Facebook, and every event is a win. The decision to try to include people in the community is a win. So there's more wins on you guys felt you guys are working really hard as a group, and it may not be well attended, or there may be people who may be bitchy moany when they're there, but it doesn't matter. It's a win. So it's a good thing. It seems like we talked about Atlantic City, and I don't really have an answer other than the fact that it would take the city government, the casinos, and the local people to bring it together, if they even choose to go into another New York Avenue vibe, where it's a gay destination. But if it's not, it's okay. I mean, there is Asbury, there is Rehoboth, and Rehoboth is shrinking. It just could be a wave of where we're at, our society.
I
where
think
they're
Rehoboth is sort of becoming a quiet lesbian in terms of the LGBTQ. You know, it's quiet, it's more conservative, and I think it attracts more women.
can I tell you what straight white men say?
What?
They go to Rehoboth because there's too many black people in Ocean City.
I believe that.
Yeah. The boardwalk used to be very mixed, and now a lot of gay people don't even go on the Rehoboth boardwalk and hold hands or anything. If they do, it's more of a statement piece or whatever, but it's not. The gay bars have decreased, and the beach is tighter, and we're not as prevalent, even though they were considered a gay area. And I said, what is going on here? Why is it so crowded? And that's what I was told. There's too many black people on it.
Well, and that's ironic because, you know, Ocean City used to be one of those places where you couldn't go if you had like dark hair. Like I remember as a kid, my dad telling me not to go to Ocean City. I was always afraid of it. I didn't go there till I was an adult.
New Jersey?
Yeah, because they were like, oh yeah,
no. I'm talking
you
about
have to be white, you have to be like, you know, you can't even be Italian and go there. Like it was considered
I'm sorry.
Parents' mind, it was considered like a place you wouldn't be safe if you went.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. And I'm not talking about New Jersey. I'm talking about
Ocean City, Maryland. Ah, okay, yeah.
But you're right. Ocean City, New Jersey. I have friends who are black who said we were always told never
Don't go.
Don't ever go there.
I literally never went until I moved down here.
Yeah,
never.
As a white person walking the boardwalk, I have no idea why they would feel that way, because it's just so nothing, you know, to me, but to them it was a big deal. And then I'm like, I got to respect that, you know, that they are really nervous about coming in here.
You know, again, it's about being the only, you know, we talk about being the only person of color in the room. I think it's that feeling that they're talking about, and how you're treated, you know, by business owners and stuff, and people looking at you like nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's the country music that they're playing.
Oh God, yes, the country music, the coded. See, that's coded music for me.
We're at a point where we have 8 minutes left.
Okay.
And you know, do you do a wrap up and just a conversation, or we just say goodbye? You know, I almost feel that, you know, anyone who's listening to us and they got to this point, they got it. They got the big picture.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, we can wrap it up. I really had fun, Tom. This is really fun. I really enjoyed talking to you. You have to come visit when you're in town.
we would have been friends. I could have told, but we would never had this kind of depth of conversation. We're checking on each other, you know, so it would have happened, but it, you know, may have been a little different. But I'm excited about this. This is something different for me to do, and I'm glad that we did it. And I will take some time to edit it down and make it pretty, and I'll send it to you as a package, and then you can take a look at it and say, is this something you want to put out? Because
this was really fun though. Thank you. I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, this is how we're going to end it. It was great talking to you. Anyone who is listening to us that got to this point, where we love the fact that you were entertained by our conversation. Just as a footnote, I wrote like 6 pages worth of questions, and not one of them was asked. So this is this was an organic conversation. I wanted to keep it that way.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Great. All righty.
All right. Bye, Tom.
We'll be talking soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. Episode 14, Bobby Short, is complete. End of series.